AI is here. Will it be a superhero or a villain in real estate? Stay tuned to this episode of The Den and hear our thoughts.
The Den, powered by the Lyons Group, a show dedicated to exploring hot topics in real estate, local happenings, and industry trends. We're a small team of professionals approaching $400 million in sales and nearly 2,000 local transactions. You're listening to time-tested experts and industry leaders. Here's a refreshing look at real estate happenings and more. Welcome to The Den.
Well, welcome to this episode of The Den. My name is Ben Lyons, and we are going to be talking about AI today in real estate and the potential impacts, good and bad. But before I get to that, let me introduce my friends, my partners, my co-hosts. To my left, Paul Hamby, the Rockberry, Aspen, the Ninja Groen, and the boss, Shannon Martin Martinez. My name is Ben, I should say Roomba Lyons. And today we have a special guest, the man, the myth, soon to be legend, Leviticus, the little one. He came and joined us today. Aspen's new little office buddy. Oh my gosh.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Like you woke me up.
Look at that little guy. That is awesome. I could not mention little Leviticus.
No, he's so sweet.
Yeah, he's awesome. Well, he'll join us today for this episode, and he'll probably join us in future episodes. So very cool. Speaking of Levi and Levi's mother, why don't you kick us off today, Aspen, on some thoughts with AI? Artificial intelligence has become a big thing. A year ago, I was kind of panicking a little bit because it could be a really dangerous thing if there's no controls on it. But let's talk about just real estate in general. How do you see AI helping the industry moving forward for buyers or for sellers or for real estate agents?
So I think it kind of more goes, I use AI for marketing, and that's what I think most people are using it for right now. One thing that I think is great about it is, one of my favorite things is, if you have a shop that's full of things, it can just take it all out and show you what the empty shot would look like. Now, I do think we need to label that, what it is, an AI altered picture, and same, who knows if there's staining underneath or something, or if there's a big empty room, you get the virtual staging. Now it's relatively easy. So I think that's one of the coolest things that I've seen come from AI in real estate. But of course, we always see the Chat GPT descriptions too. And you can always tell because it boasts certain things. You're like,
everything's nestled somewhere.
Boasts this. Yeah. And as far as that, we kind of see on the board side, a lot of violations because people aren't reading through them.
Yeah.
So you still do need to check that.
Are people really using AI to write up their property descriptions?
I would say most people are. Yeah.
Am I the only one that's still like writing my own?
Maybe just you.
Oh,
I mean, I use it.
I write my own.
Yeah.
But they're short.
So I was using Chat GPT, and then I don't even know if this is true, but I saw something that said like every time you use Chat GPT, it's like using like 15 bottles of water. And then I started feeling really guilty. So I'm like, what's worth the water to do it? So I've stopped using it so much. But one thing I think that's interesting, and I don't know if I like it or don't like it, is the sales call. We were seeing that with Ylopo. They have bots that are doing sales calls, and they sound very real.
Yeah.
But I know me personally, I don't mind a sales call, but if one more bot texts me, I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
So I think people are almost getting like desensitized to it because they just are ignoring mass amounts of text from all, every time you buy something on a website, you're getting a text about their sales. So we're seeing that in real estate too. It's slightly annoying, but I think the market will shift and, we'll figure out how to work it in. But that's really kind of all I know about AI in real estate.
Well, and the conversations though with the text messages are like, I mean, I remember when we first signed up for AI and the guy that sold us our program was saying, look, they'll misspell words on purpose over text just to make the person on the other side think that there's someone legitimately on the back end. And so they, things like that are next level with the AI. Now we even implemented where we had the bots where people would call in and, they're talking to AI and they have no idea.
And they pause and say,
Yep.
I've thought I've been talking to a bot ever since I learned that. And I've like hung up on actual people. And then they call me back and I'm like, oh, so I thought you were a bot.
Yeah, it's really kind of scary because it's really right now. And this is in the infancy stages of artificial intelligence. We're having a hard time delineating between a human voice and an AI generated voice. And that's kind of dangerous. I mean, in my opinion, I've been saying this for quite some time. Shannon, what are your thoughts on that? What's the pro? What do you think the biggest benefit is right now? And give us some thoughts there.
So at least the way that we use AI, this is my I like and I don't like thing. It's all in one. I kind of like the fact that maybe I just have a random person call me and they, I chat real quick with them and I say, okay, I'll keep you in mind and I might send you some things, I'm a human being and sometimes they get lost. I try very hard to be real and genuine with people and stay in contact with them, but that does happen. The one thing I love about AI is I'll just get these notifications and say, hey, we reached out to your customer so-and-so and here's their conversation. And I can see that they asked them if they were still in the market. And that customer said, yeah, I talked to a lender last week. Oh, okay. Would you like help with this or that? And oh my gosh. Now I jump in and go, hey, I see that you were talking to my assistant and, what can I do for you? That is extremely helpful because now they're better served and I'm better served. On that same front, I hate that it does that because sometimes they're contacting people that maybe I don't want them to contact. I have personal information that I know, and that's not an appropriate conversation to be having with them now. Or they're nagging them and I can see that this person is irritated and I really don't want that associated with me. Yeah. So I like the AI for the same reasons that I don't like the AI. I like it, but I guess I just wish I had more control over it. And I guess that is the whole idea of AI is that I don't have control over it. So I guess my answer is I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I think
I don't know.
Well, the pro of it is the affordability.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be great to hire an ISA, a sales associate, to do all those sales calls, but that's not
very
realistic.
Expensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
And being one person, it's not realistic that we are always going to remember to call every single person at the exact right time too. No matter, we are human. We don't do that.
Yeah. So it would be great if it could be a real person, but from an affordability standpoint, the AI definitely wins.
Yeah. And as realtors, we chase rabbits constantly. And like what you're saying, Shannon, is, we answer the phone constantly with strangers that we don't know. And we'll set you up a search list and whatever else. And you try to chase these people down because you don't know right out of the gate who's serious and who's not. And so you can only chase you only have so many hours in the day. So AI has come in and filled that void. But at the same time, it's like when they're reaching out to a prospect and the prospect says, my aunt just passed away and, I'm not thinking about a move right now. And we would go, oh, we're so sorry to have bothered you. We'll reach out sometime down the road. AI goes, sorry to hear that. So when do you think you're going to move?
That's right.
Yeah.
Like
so can I send you to a lender right
so
now?
can I get you to the lender?
Explicitly say stop or cancel or no. It just keeps going.
Yeah. And it's relentless.
It really is.
Yeah. It's relentless. Paul, what are your thoughts? AI improvements right now in today's real estate market. Are you seeing it as a good thing, bad thing? What are your thoughts there?
I'm not sure. I like it in some ways. I don't like it in other ways. I wish there was some parameters you could put on it. Most I know about AI is I follow a guy on TikTok who turns, classic music or hard rock music into yacht rock. Yeah. And I can watch that for all day. So there is some cool things about AI, that being one of them. But this is not my topic.
I'll tell you right now, though, if someone gets one of those robots and asks me to come sell their house, I'm not going in it.
You talk about that.
Yes. So that was my thought originally was when Tesla came out and they said, here's your personal robot that walks around. Have you seen that, Shannon?
No.
Kim Kardashian just got one.
It's wild. It is. It looks like iRobot and they were serving drinks and having conversations and the robot's like, you want to take a selfie, type of thing. And so then I was like, well, what other applications, right? If you wanted to show a house, you walk up and you knock on the door, the robot's there because that's their personal robot and it shows you the home. It may tell you details or whatever. Like what kind of implications does that have? And is the AI brain connected? Because then you start getting into the whole Terminator thing. Like
that's my thing. Is
Skynet.
Yeah.
I could see someone like Ryan Serhant, like getting the robot and it doing tours and it just being like a fun little thing, like almost, I don't say gimmicky thing, but kind of.
Yeah.
But absolutely not, because they're going to take over the world and I am not nice to electronics. So the way I talk to my Alexa, Bryson says, you better hope these things don't come.
She's on the hit list.
I would be.
Oh,
I have no patience for electronics.
But you think about the curve of technology. I mean, we are, we had this kind of run up and into the 90s and 2000s, it started to peak up. And now where we're at now, we're starting to see this exponential growth. And we've talked about that for many years, but now it's here. Like over the next 5 to 10 years, it is going to be incredible to see artificial intelligence, really the applications that can be used, whether it's through a robot that's showing homes, through market valuations, through decision making. Now they have information that, people that may not understand or are quite ready to sell, but because of their actions online and all these other things, they kick them into algorithms and AI says, hey, this person's getting ready to sell their home. And that person may not even really consciously know that they're ready to sell their home. And next thing you know, they are. So they're beating people to the punch on things like that. It's pretty incredible. Mm-hmm. And so it's also one of those things that we've got to be aware of, and there has to be some regulations because, that could run amok pretty quick. So would you get a robot, Shannon?
No.
You wouldn't have one sitting around clean? What if it did your dishes?
I'm going to tell you right now, 2 Christmases ago, I got a Roomba. No. It is still in the box.
Yeah.
That's how comfortable I am. That I have a dishwasher that is stuffed with other things because I don't use it. I don't use technology like that around my house. No.
Well, and then like the Alexas and stuff,
I don't even have that.
It's all
I don't have that. Yeah. The most complicated I get is when I grab my phone and I'm driving. So I hit the side button and say, call my mom, because I don't want to look up her number or something. That's as technical as I get.
What am I listed in there? Knucklehead, Goomba?
Right. Yeah.
Ben Leon.
That's right.
Him again.
Yeah. I think this is a fascinating topic because, if you project yourself out, let's go ahead and do that. Let's think about 10 years from now. How is the real estate landscape going to change? Do you think it's going to make an impact as far as us personally? I mean, because we just talked about a couple of episodes ago about all the thought that goes behind the contracts, See,
that's the thing. That's where I'm torn. I feel like you cannot replicate that. I feel like, when you talk about experience or connecting with someone in everyday life, understanding the struggle that they're going through and helping them make a better decision. AI can't do that. Mm-hmm. And so there's a part of me that says, everybody's going to want the human touch. Everybody's going to want that contact. Everybody's going to want that person because people how many times do they say, what would you do? Mm-hmm. People look at us and say that, well, what would you do? Because they're stuck and they really want that connection and that understanding. So there's a part of me that says people are never going to give that up. They're never going to want that. But I never thought that we'd be with half the things we have these days. So it is a possibility. I don't know where it's going to go. I'm not comfortable with giving up the human touch. I'm not comfortable with that.
I would say if you look backwards instead of looking forwards, if you look backwards to 10, 15 years ago, I bet all of you guys, you dinosaurs, were saying, now these computers, everybody's going to buy it online. Mm-hmm. And it's not actually what is happening. Realtors are using those as tools to help them in their business. So 10 years from now, we might understand AI a little bit better and be able to use it.
It's more of a tool.
As a tool for our consumers. Mm-hmm. So I don't think...
Rather than a replacement.
Yeah, I don't think they're getting rid of us. It's like It's like the people that used to build the rotary phones, right? Now they're just building iPhones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're still phones.
They're still phones. Mm-hmm. So they still need us.
You think it's the same people building the rotary phones and the iPhone?
But let's not get, that was the last topic, the political.
I don't know. We had a rotary phone when I was growing up.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, I don't know if they're the same.
They're probably not. No.
Little Timmery said to me the other day, she goes, Dad, how do you use this? And I said, well, you stick your finger in and you turn it all the way around. And I said, go ahead and dial my number. And she got to the end. She's like, I was like, no, you messed up. You got to start over. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, you got to start over. Yep. You can't just continue on. It doesn't work that way.
And just go back one number.
She was appalled by that.
My thought with it is I'm fine with a lawyer using it to generate the contract, But then I want them to look over the contract and make sure they can make the changes.
Still want that human eye who has the experience.
I don't want some, sometimes boilerplate is fine, but sometimes I need it a little.
That's why we have addendums.
Exactly.
Because the boilerplate doesn't always work. It doesn't work for every single contract. There's always something that's not in there.
Yeah, and that's why we have blanks in the contracts, because we have to fill them in. And those blanks are filled in by conversations and, explaining how this will impact the rest of the contract.
Right.
But that moves us into critical thinking, right? I mean, that's the human touch. That's one section of the human touch is the critical thinking component is like, well, if this happens, then that happens. And I really want to shore you up and protect you over here. So I would recommend putting this in the contract, And then you go on and you think through all the different angles. AI is getting to the point where it can be a critical thinker and it's only learning. It's only learning.
I hate I hate it.
And then
he doesn't want to get on the list. That's what that's.
Yeah,
He's sucking up to AI.
Skynet, remember
and
me,
the real
I'm
question
safe.
is, then do you look at the AI and do you say, well, this can't make mistakes because it's a program, whereas we could forget a component. We could forget something. We could omit something. We could make a mistake. So which one is the better one? Is it the person who actually is the thinker, the feeler, who can connect with you and make better decisions with you? Or is it the one that doesn't have, my kid was texting me about his car wreck when we were talking about this and I've got all these distractions and,
and I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we already have. Right. So think about this. We already have autocorrect. We already have spell check. I mean, those are kind of the same things. I think it'll be a tool to allow us. I mean, when we came up with computers that could do mathematical equations a lot quicker than a human could, I think that's what's going to start. Like we're going to have a contract drawn up. We're going to have architectural designs drawn. We're going to have all of these things done quicker for us. So it's a tool for us to use. I don't think they're going to where you're going, whereas AI is going to do everything. What's that movie? WALL-E?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that movie, WALL-E?
Sure.
We're all just sitting in lounge chairs, fat and happy, and the robots are feeding us. And we're the batteries for them.
Yeah.
I don't think that's where it's going, but I think we're going to be using it as a tool.
But what you just said, though, the calculator, an input-output. Input-output. AI is different. AI is different, and the thought behind decisions is starting to evolve, and that's where I'm saying there may be more implications than what we're thinking about today, because no longer is it input output. Can they move those things, quicker? That's fine. They can do them in an instant, but it's the critical thinking component behind those decisions that plays in. I'm posing to the group, like your thoughts on that side of it.
The only thing that kind of makes me go back and forth on it too is the environmental impact that AI has, because it's not like a calculator. It's not you put this and this and it doesn't really affect anything until you throw it away. It is using so much energy because it is constantly it's needing more energy because it's constantly learning and changing. That's kind of my biggest push with the AI is we're just using it to do basic things that we don't need it for. And
yacht rock.
For yacht rock.
That's necessary though.
And it's kind of, I mean, our environment's not doing so hot as it is. And now we're going to have people, using it to write listing descriptions. It's just...
So I'm curious because that's the first I've heard of the environmental impact. So you've heard because of the draw on the power that is needed to implement AI, that it's actually a bigger drain on our resources.
Yeah, it's like mining cryptocurrency. You're constantly going deeper and deeper and taking more and more energy. That's how AI works. It's just based off.
And that's not going backwards.
No.
That's going forward. I mean, because it's only getting bigger. It's only becoming more robust.
And the cooling of these basically mega computers, it takes a ton of water to cool them. So that's one of my biggest pushes with AI. Also, I think this is when you'll never hear me say this again, but I need the NRA to come up with some like laser pointer thing that if they do decide to get a little that's where I'm opposite of Ben. I'm like, it makes me nervous.
It does.
I don't love it.
I mean, I really was thinking about it. I mean, it really hit home when I saw Tesla have that event where these robots were walking around and they said the vision of this is that everyone in the world has a personal robot and they're going to make them so affordable that the ability is there. But then you start going to, well, where's the center brain? And if the center brain says, hey, you know what? These little pests on the earth are getting in our way. Why don't, in unison.
They're doing it bad. They're making mistakes. They're sick. They're doing worse things for the environment. Like, who knows? I feel so strongly.
And if the program is designed to get rid of obstacles and we become an obstacle.
Did you guys watch Smart House on Disney?
No, I haven't seen it.
You should watch it. That's what I think is going to happen. It was an old 90s Disney movie.
I saw somewhere, I can't remember what it was, but it was like, if there's no guardrails on it, how can I could just go into AI or ChatGPT or whatever it is and give me all of Ben's bank account information, his social security number, because it's all out there in the digital world.
Sure.
And that's what AI has the ability to do.
Yeah.
They can pull from anywhere. So we have to start really figuring out the restrictions, the parameters, because if that gets into the wrong hands and then they can do some damage. Well, I mean, it's a lot more than, listing descriptions.
Yeah.
We're seeing it. I mean, in a bigger like scams, the rental scams, we're seeing that all the time. And fake people can go in and make these things that look so real. And then they get all the bank account information. And then I think we could see that with AI, someone utilizing AI to do that on a bigger scale, because we're already seeing people take our empty listings and say, you can get this for $600 a month. You just have to Venmo or send it here and send me your bank account information. And then we're already seeing that as a scam. So I could see AI being utilized.
Covering voices. That's what's really worried me lately.
And sound and looking like what's it called? The deep fakes?
The deep fakes. Yeah. But we've seen that where people have, and I shared a story the other day on it where this guy got a call from his daughter and she said, Dad, I've been kidnapped. And he could not tell the difference between her voice and the AI.
That's the stuff that's scary to me.
Yeah. I mean, so we're talking about stuff that we were watching, years ago in sci-fi movies, and it is here. And Paul, I think you're spot on with it. We have to have guardrails. And in fact, the guy who actually created AI
says he wished he never would have done it.
Yeah. And he came out and said, we have to control this, because if we don't, it goes to a very dangerous spot. I mean, I was watching this one thing that guy said, hey, I need you to do these things and create this web page and do this other stuff, but you can't break these rules. And AI circumvented the rules to accomplish the task. So the task superseded the rules, which is mind-boggling to me. And especially if you have a central computer that controls these things.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know that you can program AI if it's critical or if it gets into critical thinking to say, but you have to do it morally, ethically.
Because what are morals and ethics?
To whom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And there's the guardrails, right? And who comes up with the guardrails? And then you're going to have people that have created AI that have no guardrails, that are trying to be nefarious about it. That's already happened.
And then the robots cut you out, and that's how it happens. We've seen it in every movie.
Yeah, every movie.
That's why I've been hitting the gym. I want to play the new Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, I'm going to wake up with a pillow on my face from my iRobot.
No, my Alexa's going to like wiggle over.
Oh, yeah.
She's just had enough of your mouth and the way you talk to her.
I do. Every time I make a mistake, I'm like, wow, I just get so mad.
Oh, that's funny. Well, let's jump right into the speed round. We've actually covered this, but I do want to project 10 to 15 years out. And Paul, I want to start with you. What do you think in 10 to 15 years, selling real estate, what do you think the biggest impact AI is going to have?
I think what we're doing now is we won't lose connection with our customers. I think that would probably be the biggest thing. The information is always readily available to them, and it just looks like we're sending it to them. I think a continuation of that, we're seeing it in its infancy. I think it'll be a lot better, a lot more user-friendly for us, the users. And I think that would be, they get the instant callback, the text, the emails. And it'll be better than what you're saying, or what you said, my aunt just died. Oh, well, are you selling her house? There'll be a little bit of empathy built into it.
That's funny. Aspen, 10 to 15 years from now, how do you see AI changing our industry?
We're all living in caves. No, no. Realistically, what I would like to see is that they're taking over. Like sometimes if someone just texts and says, hey, when's the closing date again? Or hey, when do I need this done? It would be great if AI could just respond and send them what they need, because I think it's great that AI can make yacht rock, but I would like to see people, I would like to see people do more of the creative stuff and AI take over more of the, monotonous daily things be, so you have more time with your family. You have more time to, do whatever you want to do, to go on vacation or paint. I don't know, whatever you want to do. So I hope to see something more like that and not just taking over all the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Shannon, 15 years from now, where do you see the real estate industry?
I hope it's making our life easier. I'm hoping, like Aspen said, that it's, I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but I hope so. I hope people will always want the human aspect in this industry, and they'll want what we really have to offer and what we have to give, and that we could be using it just to make ourselves more efficient and better for our customers. That would be ideal for me. Whether it goes that way or not, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, only the future can tell. My thoughts very similar. I do hope that AI just comes in to help subsidize what we're doing already. And it's already kind of doing that. So the scary thing for me is to think 15 years down the road. I'm going to go a little bit more extreme, a little bit further out there. I feel like we'll probably have robots that they've released that we put in a vacant house and they open the door, they show the client. They do some things like that in 15 years, very plausible. 15 years ago, we think about even a Tesla car, wasn't even there wasn't anything close to that. And now we're on that upward trajectory of exponential growth with this stuff. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, but I do hope that we keep the personal touch. That is really the thing that bonds us together as humans. The personal component, and I hate to see that eroded or go away. So just thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts as a viewer of the Den. What are your thoughts of how AI is going to play out over the next 10 to 15 years in real estate? Be curious to hear some comments on that. So great discussion today. We don't have time for the Lyons Pride, but Paul, you got the next one on the next episode.
It says Aspen right there.
No, yeah, this was Aspen's turn. That's right.
But
Yeah,
Paul missed the last one.
Yeah, that's right.
Missed the last 4. That's right. We go long every time.
We go a little bit long, so we may have to get longer episodes. But thank you for listening to this episode. If you like our content, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to our Facebook page. We have a fantastic newsletter that we send out to all of our clients. So we have a wonderful set of clients. We do customer appreciation. In fact, we got customer appreciation that we're going to be doing. So if you're working with the Lyons Group in some form or capacity, or you've worked with us in the past, reach out for our customer appreciation events that we're doing and are coming up as well. So go to sjcbroker.com and you can schedule a private consultation with any one of us here at the Lyons Group. We'd love to sit down with you and talk with you about buying or selling residential or commercial and help give you an advantage in today's market. But until next time, thank you for listening to this episode of The Den.
Thank you for listening to The Den, powered by the Lyons Group. Hit the subscribe button to keep informed on real estate happenings. If you'd like to learn more about the Lyons Group, visit sjcbroker.com. Complex markets require complex strategies. The Lyons Group can give you a true advantage in any market. Whether you're buying or selling, residential or commercial, contact us directly at sjcbroker.com. We're time-tested experts with a client-first approach, and we'll see you next time in The Den.